Hi Pokefans, welcome back to a new video on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. In today's episode, we'll go ahead and discuss on all the new Pokemons that they have released for these games. I'm actually very excited that we actually have around 16 Pokemons that are actually released and confirmed. So let's quickly go ahead and get into it. Well, I think it's better if we start with the 3 new starters that were released for this game. The first starter we are going to be discussing is actually Sprigatito. Now, I'm really sorry if I mispronounced any of these names. I'm just getting to read the names as it is. Anyway, Sprigatito is actually the grass starter for the newer games, and as you can see, its design is really cute. I really feel like the description that they have given in the website definitely kind of sort of fits a cat in real life. It does say it's definitely attention seeking and will definitely frown at its trainer if it sees its trainer kind of looking at another Pokemon. So it definitely fits the theme, and I'm really excited to see what it might actually evolve into as well. And there is more things that it can actually indicate that it's more like a cat, especially a needy move like this. Pretty cute. Again, I'm really excited to see what kind of moves it gets and how powerful it is in a battle. Moving on, the next starter that we are going to be talking about is going to be for Coco. Again, this is the standard fire type starter that we get in these games, and the design looks pretty cool. It kind of is, I think it's also called a croc Pokemon, so I think it resembles a crocodile in more over here. Now it does have the blaze ability as well, and according to the Pokemon website, it definitely is laid back and does things on its own pace. So that's pretty cool. I'm really excited to see again what kind of evolution this starter might have. And for more details on it, it definitely seems to be able to actually absorb heat to its scale, which is pretty unique. And it definitely does have a lot of overflowing fire type energy. So I'm really excited, hoping that these starters will be a dual typing as well, which will definitely give it good coverage. Well, the final starter Pokemon that we have is Quagsly, which is actually a water and flying type. I believe it is flying type because I did see that it could use a flying type move in one of the videos that was released. It does have a cooler design, but it kind of reminds me of Ducklet, which was a water type Pokemon that we had before. So I'm really curious to see what kind of final evolution this starter will definitely have. Now this is definitely going to be the more serious Pokemon than the other 2 starters, at least that's what the Pokemon website says, which definitely does suit its personality as well. So these natures of Pokemons will definitely help us decide which kind of starters that we want to select when we play this game. Well, according to the website, it definitely seems like it is having some sort of gel that is being produced from its body that kind of keeps it clean. So I guess that goes well with its nature where it's actually pretty serious. So I guess it's pretty cute. And since it's a water type Pokemon, it definitely will be able to swim much easily with those very strong legs. I am very excited to see what all of these starter Pokemons are going to be evolving. Just because I haven't really decided which one to use in my playthrough. Maybe in the future, if we get another trailer before they release the game, we might get a peek at what they are going to be evolving into. Anyway, that's all on the 3 starters that have been released for this game. The next Pokemon that we're discussing actually was released in the very first trailer, and it's actually Lechonk. It is a normal type Pokemon, and apparently the category is going to be a hog Pokemon. The abilities are pretty good, and as far as we have seen in the videos, it was actually used by one of our friends, Nemona, who we have been introduced to before. Alright, regarding the design, I think this one looks pretty cute, but I definitely would have to see its final evolution in order to decide on this one. But a normal type is kind of nice to have in a team once in a while, so definitely would like to see how good this is in battle as well. Alright, here is some more data that we have got on this Pokemon and the Pokemon website. Definitely seems like it has an excellent nose, so it might help us find more berries when we are playing through the game. So that's pretty cool. Definitely would have to add this one into my team, at least for finding the berries. Also, it seems like it is quite timid, and if we definitely star it, it might run at us as well. So if I'm not going to be catching this Pokemon, I would definitely have to be a bit more careful around it, so that we don't really start another Pokemon battle, which, as you might know, is quite annoying when you're going around. And we have definitely seen it in Pokemon Shield and Sword. Well, the next Pokemon we are going to be discussing is actually Pommy. And this one, I really like the design. The minute I saw it, I was just like, this is going to be a substitution of Pikachu. It's actually a electric type Pokemon, and we have seen Nemona again using this one, so I'm pretty sure she's going to be having it in her team. The only thing that actually surprised me was actually its ability. It seems like it not only has static, it might actually have a chance of having nature cure as well, which, usually you see it in grass type Pokemon, so it's really nice to see that in an electric type Pokemon as well. Now, here is some more data about it in the Pokemon website. Definitely seems to have a discharging organ just like Pikachu, Pichu, or any other, I guess, Pikachu substitution Pokemon that we have seen before. And it does seem to have a very thick fur that stores a lot of electricity, so that's pretty cool. The next Pokemon that we are going to be discussing is actually Smoliv, and as you can see, it's actually an olive Pokemon. Well, all I've got to say about this one is that someone was out there just sitting looking at an olive and just decided to make it into a Pokemon. That's all. Anyway, it's actually a grass or normal type, so pretty unique dual typing, and it does have the ability Early Bird, which is quite nice. I'm pretty sure that this is another Pokemon that Nemona has as well, so she definitely has a team full of newer Pokemon. The only thing I can say about this design is let's hope it doesn't look really bad when it evolves into its final evolution. That actually makes me a bit curious on this as well. Now, this is quite interesting, is that this Oleo Pokemon definitely has its own oil, which is so bitter and astringent that will actually make you flinch. Alright, since olive oil is definitely one of those very regularly used oil, this is definitely the complete opposite of it. I guess that's the only difference with this one and a normal olive. Either way, it's fine without eating and drinking. So now that's really unique. Okay, something that I was not really expecting is for a Pokemon to not eat and drink. So, alright. I guess that's what it's gonna be. I guess at this point it can also use photosynthesis, so that might be the way it's actually getting its energy as well. All around, it's definitely one of those unique Pokemons. Alright, the next Pokemon we are going to be discussing is actually Fidoc, which is the first fairy type Pokemon that has been released for this game. Now, this comes under the category of a puppy Pokemon, which according to its design, it definitely looks pretty cute. And it does have the ability Own Tempo. Quite nice. Well, the weirdest thing I have seen to this date is definitely saying that its breath is kind of containing yeast. That is really weird, and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find it in cafes all around this region, so that's pretty cute. Personally, I'm not really sure if I'm going to be using this one in my team. I definitely would have to see its final evolution before I decide. But I guess it's kind of fun, using a Pokemon without knowing whether it will evolve or how it will actually evolve. It also seems that they do puff up their body whenever they are trying to intimidate an opponent. So that is pretty weird, but definitely quite interesting to see as well. The next Pokemon that I was really interested to discuss is actually Paldean Wooper. As you can see, Wooper in this game is gonna be a poison and ground type, which is really exciting. And I really like the coloring scheme they actually went with, which also kind of helps it, I guess, camouflage itself when there are people around. It's definitely categorized as a poison fish Pokemon and has the ability Poison Point or Water Absorb, which is kind of the same that it had before. Alright, I guess this is one of those Pokemons I definitely want to use in my team. So you'll definitely see me using this one through my playthrough. And here is some more data on it as well. It seems like it does live on land but definitely seem to cover its body with some poisonous film. According to the website, it definitely seemed to say that they did live underwater at some point, but they did come out as well due to the drying lands. And since they have been living on land, they definitely have gills that have been hardened, and this might actually make them move a bit slower since they do get a bit heavier. But for me, I think poison and ground typing is pretty good, so I think I'm still gonna be trying to use this one in my team. The next Pokemon we are gonna be discussing is actually Cetitan, or I guess Cetitan. I'm not really sure how it's actually pronounced, but it's actually a Terra Whale Pokemon. Now this is an ice typing and definitely has the ability Thick Fat or Slush Rush. Now Slush Rush is actually a newer ability that was introduced in this game, and we'll definitely go ahead and discuss more on it as well. I believe Grusha, the Glacedo City gym leader, actually uses Cetitan as his, main partner. That's pretty cool. Well, design-wise, it is pretty unique, and I guess there is a lot happening in this design, but I think since it's an ice-type Pokemon, it is highly likely that I might actually not use it, but we'll see. But according to the Pokemon website, it definitely seemed to have a very strong muzzle as well as a thick blubber. Now, in theory, it does help it as it does live in a snowy region. It definitely helps it protect its body as well. It also seems like its upper jaw can actually freeze the surrounding, which is pretty intense. It seems to have quite a lot of ice energy around it as well, so that's pretty cool. Moving on to the next one, we actually have Rafai over here, which is a newer Pokemon introduced. And as you can see, its design is pretty unique. It does seem to have a tendency of, being a lot of territorial. And as you can see, it is a poison and normal typing. Alright, it does have the ability Unburden or Poison Touch. I believe using Poison Touch would be much better, considering that you would have a chance of poisoning your opponent as well. Also, according to the website, it seems like it doesn't like to roam in packs, and you might actually find it alone. Quite unique. Definitely I'm interested in this one. Not really sure if it will evolve, because I feel like this is one of those Pokemons that might not actually evolve. Either way, it definitely has a really cool theme. Well, here is some more data on it as well. It seems like it can definitely sense more danger and will make its poison more toxic. So I'm not really sure if it is gonna be, deciding factor for us when we are battling a Pokemon, but we'll definitely get to see that as well. Other than that, it also seems like it is nocturnal, so it can definitely see in the dark. Pretty unique, and it is really well detailed. It feels like a horror story reading these descriptions over here. Either way, it's pretty cool that they have introduced this Pokemon in this game. Now, the next Pokemon that we are going to be discussing is actually going to be Klawf, which is a recent released Pokemon. It is going to be a ambush Pokemon and definitely a rock type. As you can see, it was in a desert area. And it does have the ability Anger Shell or Shell Armor. Anger Shell, as you can see, is actually a newer ability, which is pretty cool. And according to the Pokemon website, when Klawf's HP actually drops less than half, then it makes the Pokemon more angrier. This definitely will lower its defense and special defense, but definitely gives a boost for attack and special attack, as well as the speed stats. Now, according to me, it might be an advantage or it might not be, considering on whether your Pokemon is faster or not. So, really tricky ability. I would definitely not go for this one just because of how bad it is. And I feel like Shell Armor is a way better ability for this one as well. Well, other than that, it seems like it actually has spinning eyes which will never leave behind a blind spot. Pretty unique and a bit creepy according to me, but definitely useful if you're gonna be using a cloth, I guess. Not sure. And it seems like it definitely is both strong and dexterous, which is pretty good. But at the end of the day, it definitely comes to whether it can actually evolve and whether its final evolution is also a good Pokemon or not. So I guess we do have to kind of wait and see how it is. The next Pokemon is actually gonna be Cyclizar. As you can see, it's actually a dragon and normal type. And being a big fan of dragon type Pokemon, I definitely would want to add this one to my team. I think we'll get one either way, considering that we are gonna be riding this one around the whole region, so I'm pretty excited. It does have the ability Shed Skin, which is nice. It is kind of reminding me of Dartini, but either way, it's actually a mount Pokemon. Now, here is a bit more on it. It definitely seems to be living with the humans from an ancient time. So, I guess, just like I said before, we would be having a chance to actually ride it around, and it's going to be making traveling much easier for us as well. And since we are going to be having it in our team, I guess we can actually battle with it when we are riding. According to this website, definitely seems like it can sprint up to 70 kilometers per hour, which is pretty fast considering that we are sitting on top of it. Definitely pretty cool, and it also kind of looks like a pre-evolution for the two main Pokemons that we see in this game as well, which I'll be going ahead and taking up next. And since we have just talked about Cyclizar, let me quickly go ahead and talk about Koraidon over here, which is actually the cover Pokemon for Pokemon Scarlet, whereas we have Miraidon, which is going to be the cover Pokemon for Pokemon Violet. As you can see, Koraidon definitely has a really good design, and I'm pretty sure we can actually go ahead and ride this one as well. Now, even though they have actually introduced this Pokemon, they haven't yet told us about its typing or ability, so that is kind of, I guess, blind for us for now. But since it's still a legendary Pokemon, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a really powerful Pokemon, and I guess if we do get a chance to use it, I will definitely try and add it to my team. When I see it, I feel like it might be part dragon and fire type, but you never know what it might be these days. Well, the next Pokemon we are discussing is actually Miraidon right here, which is the counterpart to Koraidon. Again, the typing and ability of this Pokemon is also shrouded in mystery, so we don't really know too much about it. The only thing we still know is that we can definitely go ahead and ride this one as well, and that it is a legendary Pokemon. But personally, I feel like this might be a dragon and electric typing just because of how its design is. Personally, I really like Miraidon over here way better than Koraidon. And this might be because I like Violet more than Red, but definitely there are people out there who like that design more. Either way, let's actually, I guess, wait and find out what kind of typing these guys are gonna be and how good they're gonna be in a Pokemon battle. Well, the next Pokemon to discuss is actually Armarouge right here. And it is another Pokemon that is exclusively only found in Pokemon Scarlet. As you can see, it is a fire and psychic type, which is pretty unique. I believe we had one more starter that was fire and psychic, which I believe was Fennekin. And it does have the ability Flash Fire. It is a fire warrior Pokemon, and its design is, according to me, pretty cool. But as I mentioned before, since I do like violet color more, I think I would actually prefer Cerulege over this Pokemon right here. Other than that, here in the website, it definitely seemed to say that the armor is the source of psychic power. I guess that is pretty cool. I mean, it is after all a fire and psychic type, and definitely seems to use its hand as a cannon. And it definitely seems to be living by the principle of fair fight, which does suit its topic, its design as well as its typing. So I'm pretty happy with it. If I'm going to be playing Pokemon Scarlet, then I guess I'll definitely go ahead and use this one in my team. Now, it also seemed to learn a newer move which is called Armor Cannon, and as you might have guessed, it actually goes ahead and puts its arm together to kind of form a cannon, which will then allow it to actually use its own armor as a blazing projectile. As you can see, the screenshots are right here, and it seems like it's actually one of the powerful moves this Pokemon learns, which also lowers its defense and special defense while exchanging it to power. Pretty cool. Well, it seems like we have discussed almost all the Pokemon. There is one more left, and it's actually gonna be Ceruledge. As you might have known, it's actually the counterpart for Armarouge, and it's gonna be only available in Pokemon Violet. And its design is so much cooler. I really like the fact that it's actually having two blades instead of an armor, which personally I feel like looks way cooler and an amazing design. Again, this is also a Fire Blades Pokemon. It definitely is a Fire and Ghost type, which is very unique and which is unlike Litwick. I feel like this is way better. Also, it seems like it does have the ability Flash Fire once again. Well, according to the Pokemon website, it seems like it uses its sword to absorb life energy, which kind of is true since it is a part Ghost type. Although I really can't stress it enough, I really like this design. It is amazing. And it is willing to do anything to win. So if you are that kind of a trainer, definitely this Pokemon will suit you. Personally, I really like it. I think it's a good addition to your team, considering the fact that it is a dual Fire and Ghost type. Now, it does get its own move as well. And unlike Armarouge, it actually learns Bitter Blade. Bitter Blade is definitely gonna be a physical type move. It seems like it does absorb the life energy from another Pokemon and kind of heals its HP. Personally, it feels like Bitter Blade is a way better move than Armor Cannon, just because it does heal your team member as well when it uses that move. Either way, it is gonna be only available in Pokemon Violet, so if you're playing Pokemon Scarlet, I guess the best Pokemon that you would probably get is Armarouge. Either way, these are all the Pokemon that they have released for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Pretty cool. We have totally 16 Pokemons, and I am actually really excited to go ahead and get these Pokemons and see how well they do in a battle. Well, thank you all for watching my video. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. It definitely helps me a lot. And I'll see you guys in the next one.